morning, everyone. Now, I have a guest here, Jay, right? And what we want to talk about today is on the topic of innovation. Now, we know that SMEs have been called uninnovative, especially in the area of finance, right? And what Jay can bring to us today is the topic of innovation in finance. And I think we have a very interesting discussion this morning on this fintech area that you are in. So, Jay, would you just quickly introduce to us the background of your business, and then we can get into the topic?
Absolutely. So thank you very much for having me, Mark. And my name is Jay. I am an alliance manager at OFX. So that's 3 letters: O for Oscar, F for France, X for X-ray. And OFX, we operate in the money remittance space. We've been in business for about 22, almost 23 years. And we're fully MAS regulated. We just do money transfers for clients, whether they be individuals or corporates. So, and then the other thing is, our sweet spot for corporates in Singapore, SMEs. So we fill that gap, and I think we fill it pretty well.
So Jay, let me give you an example, and then we can sort of like get to the heart of things. Now, I was in south of France about 4 or 5 years ago, and I stumbled upon a little marketplace selling soap, handmade soap. I bought a couple of blocks, and then as I was paying, I asked this vendor and said, "Do you actually ship to Singapore and the Far East?" Because I cannot imagine, the exchange rate and then all the costs. When we are paying, how he gets the orders, to deliver, and how much was it? I think it was only about €5. That kind of transaction, it doesn't make sense. And then I was surprised because he showed me his customer list. They're all over the world. I didn't spend enough time talking to him, but I just wonder how, a small little business like his can actually, sell and export around the world with exchange controls. How does it work then?
Regarding this French soap seller, I'm 100% sure that he has an online presence. So he will definitely have, say, an online marketplace. He may be selling through someone like Amazon, and through selling through Amazon, you obviously are able to collect funds and transactions in overseas currencies, in different currencies. So one of the things that we can do as a company, we can issue what's called a GCA, it's short for Global Currency Account. And this Global Currency Account enables small businesses like this soap seller to have in-country bank accounts, so they can receive in the buyer's currency. So whether it be US dollars, euros, even Singapore dollars. This solution is perfect for a business like this. And this will navigate the headache of thinking, how much am I converting if I need to sell this to someone in Singapore or whatever. It's all in the same currency, and it mitigates that foreign exchange risk.
Prior to fintechs like yourself, would you not agree therefore that it was very difficult to do cross-border businesses for small businesses? Give us an idea, right, of the difficulty prior to fintechs like yours.
Absolutely, it was very difficult. So before the rise of e-commerce businesses, not just Amazon, but let's say like Rakuten or Walmart, any of these big players, it was probably very, very difficult to be, one, noticed, and two, even get online. A lot of businesses like this soap seller, they could only do domestic business. And only when the advent of anything cross-border came up, then they could expand beyond their own borders and begin to receive in different currencies, and not only receive, but also convert back to their home currency. So I think they've got to start somewhere, and I think the domestic part is that somewhere they started.
Okay, I suppose for small businesses, right, their main concern is the complexity of all these things. I can't get my head around foreign currencies, exchange, the rules, the laws. Then I've got to hire an accountant, I've got to hire a bookkeeper, I've got to hire lawyers to basically look at, these things. So, I can understand that prior to fintech and people like OFX, it must be very challenging indeed, as what you have just said. Now, then, if today, right, you were telling me something like all these things can be reduced down to something like on a handphone, I'm very surprised. and how easy is this? I mean, you were just showing us on a handphone.
Exactly. So, like a lot of online businesses, OFX is also available on the app, and it really literally is just a few clicks of the button, as long as you've got your account set up fully, of course. And for OFX as a business, we want to maintain a human and a digital element to it. Okay, so the digital part obviously is being online as well as through the app, but the human part is also the 24/7 support that we offer. And the 24/7 support also includes the ability to book a deal over the phone. So if you want to speak to a person, especially for a first deal, you can do that. And the rates will be identical as to what you will get online.
So everything is transparent, everything is the information that you need is on the phone. You don't have to go and call, my special foreign exchange person, and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got OF experts that are around the world. We are in 7 countries outside of Singapore. And those countries are Australia, UK, US, Canada, Hong Kong, Ireland, New Zealand, and then you've got Singapore to make the 8. So we do have staff and experts and dealers who are able to answer questions literally 24/7.
Wow. So why are small companies not on this? Why are they not looking at trade and business beyond their locality and region? I mean, if there are all these tools available now on the internet, you have any idea?
I would say that's probably part of the one of the challenges of running an SME or being in an SME business, because one, you might be so used to your own domestic market. Why would you expand, right? And if you're making enough money from that market, then what's the need? So I would say that one, if you're already doing well in your own market, maybe that's kind of playing into what some business owners will think, I'm doing okay, I don't need to go out. But if they do go beyond their own country, so say they go beyond Singapore, then do a regional expansion, that can make total sense if you've got the right infrastructure in place, whether it be through financing, whether it be through your marketing channels or your supply chain, etc., etc. The infrastructure has to be there. Yes.
So I suppose one other thing in my experience that I've encountered is small businesses saying, you know what, I'm used to the local banks here. They've got my trust. I know the bank manager, they are regulated, they're not going to cheat my money. I'm supposed, you have this kind of question. How do you address this?
We get asked that all the time. So one of the ways I address that is to refer to our history. So I mentioned earlier we were founded in 1998, so that's 23 years of business. We are also regulated by the MAS, and not just MAS here in Singapore, but also the FCA in the UK, ASIC in Australia, the Customs and Excise Department in Hong Kong, plus 50 other regulators globally. And when it comes to the safety of funds, this is something that we treat with utmost importance. Because we're regulated, we're in a very regulated industry, we have to ensure that we have to abide by their standards and their rules and regulations that are set out. Okay? If anything happens to the funds, it is the bank's liability as well, because we work with the large banks like your DBS, like your Barclays, National Australia Bank. So we work with very established names in the market. And if there's anything that happens, we go to them and we resolve it that way.
So the message is this, yes, the big established brands are there, but please open your eyes, because there are alternatives now, right? And that you as a small business owner, right, don't just go by habit to these big brands that you know of, because you may be missing out on a deal, because they are all smaller alternative brands, up and coming fintech disruption to these banks and so forth. I suppose that's what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. So whenever someone asks, who are you? If I say I'm Jay from OFX, obviously I answer who we are as a company. And the struggle is actually for us to convince people that a service and a company like us exists. We are disruptors, not only disruptors, but we're a value add as well. So I understand most of the banks here aren't always available 24/7, so that's something that I like to go on about, because it's 100% true. I have called my hotline at 12 midnight local time, and someone in the UK answers, okay? So that's one thing that I always go on about. There's still a digital element, you still need to go online, but if you need that help, just pick up the phone and we're a local phone call away. You don't need to pay any sort of IDD charges, and we try to localize everything as well.
So you were talking, let's talk about this 24/7 culture, which is the digital culture in a way, right? And if you look at it this way, it gets even more exciting, and it resonates with me now with the pandemic, because you can't physically go down to the bank. You can't go and see the teller, right? With all the disruption, lockdowns and happening. So am I right to say that your business actually has got a positive aspect to this pandemic now?
Absolutely. I would say that the fact that you can do your registration online, you can do your KYC over the phone, the verifications are all done by my colleagues. Nothing needs to be done with you physically present as the client. So I'm still a touch point, so I can do KYCs as well. But what is the most important part is to remove that physical element due to the pandemic. Now, because of the measures that are in place by not just the Singapore government, but various other governments around the world, the fact that we have that digital option is a big plus and a big value add for anyone that wishes to register for an account with us.
Brilliant. So, thank you, Jay, for that short interview and education for us. And I think I certainly learned quite a bit as well, because I'm a traditionalist. I've been in this business 26 years. Some may say, a dinosaur, but I didn't understand what fintech was. I didn't know what kind of options that was available. And now that I've heard from you, yeah, sounds very exciting.